the first, very simple, is to who is up here. That's what you want to know. And if you don't, doesn't matter. You're still going to find out. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Catrise. And for all of you, the first question is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Dr. Catrise Austin, aka the Queen of Smiles. I am a cosmetic dentist by trade, and I'm the host of the Let's Talk Smiles podcast. When it comes to health and wellness, I am about informing you guys that there is a connection between your oral health and your overall health, and we want to make sure that you stay as healthy as possible, and I'm happy to be here.
I have an AKA as well. So, hi everyone. My name is Dr. Amy Horniman, AKA the Thyroid Fixer. I'm a thyroid and hormone expert and a functional medicine practitioner, owner of the Advanced Thyroid and Hormone Clinic, where we specialize in fixing your thyroid and fixing your hormones. I'm also the host of the Thyroid Fixer podcast and author of the Thyroid Fix. So you can see the theme here. We fix you. And my mission is simple: to empower women to get the health care that they deserve, so that you are listened to, you are appreciated, you are guided, and you are fixed so you can live your best life, be that badass human that you're meant to be.
Hello, everyone. I am Marcy Hopkins. I am a TV host, author. I'm the podcast host of Wake Up with Marcy and the creator of the Care Method. This work is so important to me because not only the things that I do, but I have lived the experience of letting go of my past, breaking generational cycles, and now I'm helping others to do that. I currently live my best life, and I want to help others to do that. And through my show, Wake Up with Marcy, we talk about radical healing, and we do that through doctors, just like you see here, and authors, and we share transformational stories, because we need to learn how to heal. We need to learn how to get through the trauma, and it's time to wake up to your worth, and that's what I want to help each of you do. Thank you.
I am Dr. Amy Apigian, and I am the biology of trauma physician.
Hold the mic there. A little higher. Just hold the mic higher there.
I am the biology of trauma physician, and my board certifications are preventive medicine, addiction medicine, but I have been a foster parent, adoptive parent, and the patient who had a manifestation of the trauma in my body for autoimmunity and chronic fatigue. I am now the author of Biology of Trauma, podcast host of the Biology of Trauma, and I help people live wholeheartedly or alive.
Fantastic. You know, it's great to have, you can keep the mic down there because you get to go first next time. You know, it's great to have a panel that there's a varied audience. We have a very large audience out there, and they come from walks of life. And it's great because a lot of you come from either westernized medicine, Eastern medicine, you come from villages, communities, towns. There's always something to learn. And so what we try to do is bring people from varied experiences, varied backgrounds. The next panel is very different than this, and because we want you to take that information. And the biggest thing about today, if there's one thing you learn, if there's one thing that you get from being here today, then you've had a great day. Because what it is, it's not about that perfection piece. It's about, oh, you know, I never thought about it that way. Maybe even watching me move and get Beto to do the 1-2, right? That was something you had never done. You never thought about it that way. Your brain saw it a different way. And that's all you need to be doing right now. So the next part, and this is not just, we do conversation. So this is a little bit what's called a panel. Everybody write that down. So in a way we're going through, and these are not preset questions. I typically sort of what's going on through the day, and it's all been about movement. And then I've done this a long time. So what should the panel relate to the audience? But one thing that this is a preset, and most of them knew it's coming, because a lot of you will forget who we are. You'll forget that we were even here, but this is the one thing you'll remember. So I always ask a very simple question because this goes really quick. What is one thing about you that nobody knows? And you're like, what? So there's audiences from 10 to 15 years ago that come up to me, and I don't know who they are, but they're like, you know, I saw you somewhere on some stage somewhere, but I do remember this. And so the one thing about me that most people don't know, that some do, is that I always wanted to live above the Pirates of the Caribbean. Very simply, we went to Disneyland a lot because back then you had the ticket books. I know some of you are going, what are you even talking about? If I talk about VHS, most of you wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. But we had the ticket books. You could get in free when people left Disneyland. This is the old days, and this is not a commercial, by the way. They would come out with the tickets that got you on the merry-go-round free over. So we went on the merry-go-round like 50 times. But it was a magical place for me. It was a very positive place for me. It was a place I really enjoyed being. And the Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride, I loved it. The animatronics, I mean, everything about it. The Blue Bayou restaurant. And I wanted to live up above. I thought that would be a really cool place because I could just people watch all day long and really experience people. So that's the thing about me that most people don't know, that you all know now. You'll be hearing that again and probably never forget it the way I just grounded it in. But let's move through this. Dr. Amy.
Most people do not know that I was an adoptive mother for 6 years. 6 years. And part of my journey then through the grief of that failed adoption, I have started to write music about, and I now have a new YouTube channel called Songs of the Inner World.
Oh, I love that. Fantastic. Thank you.
Wow, that's incredible. I will say through my healing journey, I've learned to prioritize myself. And one of the things that people don't know about me is it is mandatory for me to get 30 minutes to myself, meditate or nap in the afternoon. It's a non-negotiable. And that is a time for me to reset, to become more centered and connect with myself and reflect. And this has allowed me to become the better version of myself and also to be a better version for my family. So people ask all the time, how do you get it all done? Take a nap.
Okay, I'm going with that advice. So everybody out there, there's a studies on it anyways. The clinical side says, go for it.
Love it. I need to take more naps. Okay, things that people don't know about me. You cannot tell my husband this, but I am a better hunter than he is. So he's been hunting white-tailed deer for about 40 years, got me into it, turned me into a bow hunter and a gun hunter about 5 years ago, and I shot the biggest deer on the farm. Big bucks, big, right? Now, here's the thing. Whether you like hunting or not, there is something to it. There's that parasympathetic that you slip into. So if you are a type A crazy driver, like everybody on this panel, sometimes you need the nap. You need the time to yourself. And that is my time. That is the one time that I disconnect from my phone, from social media, from work. I am in nature, just taking it in and letting my nervous system calm down, because the movement is great, but then you have to take the rest as well.
Thank you.
Fun fact, I made Jeopardy history. I was a Jeopardy clue. And on Jeopardy, it was Dr. Catrise Austin was responsible for the smile of this woman that rapped, got a bag and fixed my teeth. Can you guys guess who that is? You would have lost the money? It's Cardi B. So that was the most exciting thing I didn't know it was coming. It just happened. That was what was fun.
Okay, that's pretty slick, though. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest broadcast shows in the history of TV, right? That's pretty slick. I love it. And you help somebody, because when you help them smile and help them look better, it's how we feel about ourselves.
Exactly. I think the smile is one of the first things that people will notice about you. I got into dentistry because I wasn't confident about my smile. So it came full circle.
I love it. Thank you. That's great. And so audience, you're going to never forget any of that. I'm going to know when Dr. Amy invites me to her house, I'm going to ask for what reason. But that's a story for another day. I've seen those movies. But it's those things that we find in ourselves that I think make the difference. It's the part of ourselves that we sort of break out, because sometimes we live within our story. But is that story holding you back? Is it helping you move forward? What is that story to you? And is your story now just become a drama? And I think there's that part of ourselves that whatever we do and how we do it and the ways we find to do it, we come out of that. And so the other thing I always think is being of service. Being of service is the biggest part of our lives. It's everything that we should do. Some people feed the homeless. They help with 10 cities. They get outside of themselves, especially if they're feeling a little bit down or having an off day. That's the great day to go do it. So what do you do on those days when you're just not feeling like you want to just keep helping the world? What keeps you going?
Testing. What keeps me going is just my passion, my why. My brand story is to I did not feel confident about my smile. And I know that if I can just change one person, help them smile again, not hide behind their smile, like there's a bigger purpose and mission. So I got to keep going. I think about the patients out there that don't feel confident and how me showing up can help them.
Very similar. I resonate with that because there are days that it just gets long and we get into the running of the business and we forget the why and why we got into this in the first place. And for me, so I have a Facebook group, it's public, it's called Just Fix Your Thyroid. And in there, I see daily women, mainly women, putting in there the pain, the suffering, the symptoms, the weight gain, the hair loss, the fatigue, wrecking their life. And that is what drives me. That is what gets me up every day. That is you. You are what get me up every day because I have such a passion and such a drive based on what I went through in my life and my misdiagnoses to empower women, to give them the answers they need, to give you the answers you need to live your best life. This life was not meant to be lived sick, tired, fatigued. I call it fat, foggy, and fatigued. Not meant to be lived that way. We're meant to thrive. So that is why I do what I do every day, even when I get tired and run down.
Great.
So I stay in my why also, very important. But I will say taking care of yourself is so important. And what I do when I feel down to get myself going, and I start this practice every day, I meditate and I also pray. So for me, keeping the faith. And then in turn, the work is so important because breaking the stigma around alcohol use disorder and substance use disorder has become a priority to me. And I know so many people out there, over 48 million suffer in the United States alone. And this is a family disease. So I myself am over 10 years sober. I've done the work. I've retrained my brain. I've broken those generational cycles. And now I am living my best life. And that's what I want to help others do. And that is my why, because there's so many people out there suffering. There's so many out there afraid to talk about it because of the shame and the guilt and the programming from our past. But the reality is that this is a mental health disease, and that's what keeps me going, because we all need help and we stay sick in the silence. So I'm keeping going.
For me, it's very practical. I actually have a basket of all the letters and gifts that I have received from people. I have been very blessed to be able to travel around on a book tour. And just yesterday, I was in Austin doing a book signing, and someone gave me a little red rock that is in the shape of a heart. And that's what I was looking at this morning before showing up here, was what is my why? How can I bring more hope to people? So it's very practical and tangential for me to go to those things that people have given me to remind me of.
Give them a round of applause. That is just awesome. You know, it's those things, because it is, not every morning is about we're going to wake up and say, oh, I'm just ready, right? Jump out of bed, and it is those things that keep you going. Sometimes it's the little reminders. Sometimes it's you look in the mirror and you go, all right, here we go again. Here we go again. Whatever today brings, whatever that brings for all of us, it's going to make a difference. One thing that our audience worldwide loves to always know is we want to give them something. We want to give them something of action or something that they can do, something they could literally leave the stream when it's done. Don't leave till then. But when it's done, and make sure you're sharing it with everybody you know, but when it's done, that they could do immediately. And I think that's really that important piece, because sometimes it's that little trigger that changes our whole world. So we're going to start with Dr. Amy at the other end, and it's over to you.
This may surprise you, but what I'm going to recommend is stop avoiding your triggers. Your triggers are information, and they are your growth edge. So rather than staying small to stay safe, be curious, explore, expand, bump into those triggers, and use them for you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I want to share a grounding technique. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And when we get stressed, overwhelmed, or worried, this centers you. gets you back to the present moment. And what it is you find 5 things that you see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 that you can taste. And this helps you to stay grounded and respond to life instead of react, because our nervous system can go on overdrive and we can worry about all the things we have no control of. So when we center ourselves, we can pause and then respond.
Okay, so we're going to do a reframe here. I want you to think of all of the symptoms that you have that are debilitating, ruining your life: the weight gain, the hair loss, the fatigue, the constipation, the brain fog, anxiety, depression, and it goes on. I want you to think of those as gifts given to you by your body, because this is a roadmap. It's not a punishment. It's a roadmap. It's a signal to you to go get help and listen to those symptoms. And they might be driving you to check your thyroid and your hormones, and that's where you get proper testing done. But it starts with those symptoms, you not ignoring those signs that your body is giving you. And then finally, I want you to have hope, because without hope, you're going to stop. Without hope, you're going to suffer. You're going to stay in your sickness. That hope is going to drive you to get help. It's going to drive you to seek the answers. It's going to drive you to attend things like this, where you are lifted up and energized and motivated and driven to take control of your life. So you keep that hope, because I promise you things can change. I went to 7 different doctors before I was diagnosed. I didn't give up hope, and neither should you.
Give that a round of applause. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, we are here in conjunction with Zumba, and we did a little workout. Well, I have my own little workout. It's called the 5-step healthy smile workout that I want you guys to do at home. Brush, floss, rinse, scrape that tongue, and you be consistent every single day. Brush for 2 whole minutes every single day. I love electric toothbrushes. You can brush with an electric toothbrush or a soft manual toothbrush. Rinse with an alcohol-free mouthwash. You can scrape with a tongue scraper, because a lot of bacteria gets on the tongue. And use an app. If you're not consistent and you need help, there are tons of apps out there that can help you do this every single day. Work out that smile like you work out your body, and you will be completely healthy from head to toe.
What an amazing panel. Give this a round of applause. They've been great here today. Team, stay with me. Keep the camera here. Don't go to commercial. I'm going to chat with you in a minute, but I wanted to thank you all for being on. I'm going to let you go off the stage that way. Please be careful when you go off. If somebody wants to help them, that would be great. And give them another thunderous round of applause. You guys are awesome. Awesome. That was, I'm going to turn that